Welcome to another edition of the Sit Down at Uptown. Sit Down at Uptown, I'm your host, Angelo, owner of Uptown Comedy Corner. And tonight, we have a very, very, very special guest. She's a comedian, an actress, very phenomenal young lady. We're very proud to have Miss Jasmin Brown tonight.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome to the show, Jasmin.
Hey.
So I'm gonna start off by saying, Jazz performed at Uptown Comedy Corner again. This is her third visit to Uptown. All phenomenal shows. First time we've seen it in a couple of years, and a lot of things have changed since the last time, to include the location. But the one thing that's been the same is you and your spirit, your comedy, how you handle things is phenomenal. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm blessed to have you here. So, Jazz, I always like to start going backwards.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So I want to talk about the little girl.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, let's talk about the young Jasmin Brown.
Uh-huh.
Where is she from? How was she as a little girl? How were you in school? Talk to me a little bit about your past.
Well, oh my gosh. So the young Jasmin is the same. Always been a character, always been outspoken, always been shout out, always just been funny, you know. And growing up, that's how Toya was created. Okay. You know, I lived in the hood. My dad bought a fixer-upper house, but we were still like in the hood, so I would go outside. And even though we had pavers and he put a fence up, we had Rottweilers, I would still go outside and sit on the porch and just watch the people in the area and just how like the girls were walking and talking and just like, you know what I'm saying? Like I would just be outside. And I believe that when you're creative, you're just creative from birth. Like that's who you are. It's a part of your DNA. And I remember just seeing the girls and being like, you know, watching them. And subconsciously, Toya was being created from like just the things that I would see. You know what I mean? Because my neighbor at the time, she had a brother, and he always had like these girls coming in and out of the house, and all of them were Toyas. And I remember I was over there playing with like my neighbor, Susie. Wow, that's so funny because Susie's in my joke. So Susie, and then she had a brother, and all the girls were just like, they were just Toya. And I remember just kind of being fascinated by them. And growing up in South Florida, it was like home of Uncle Luke, Trick Daddy, Trina, 2 Live Crew, 69 Boys. Like that's like when I would go out as a little girl or like as a teenager, and I would go to the skating rink that turned into a nightclub for 30 minutes before the let out. That's what I was listening to. That's what we were inspired by. Those were the type of women that I would see. Like Trina was like that was our girl, you know. So I think that all the while, like this character was being created. But I went to a private school, so they were a little bit bougie, and you know they were a little bit more stuck up, and I remember like not really fitting in with the private school girls, you know. And I remember because I was like probably one of the only Black girls at my school, and I remember like Toya became like my friend in my head, and like Toya was like almost like my imaginary friend, you know. And it took a long time for me to actually introduce Toya to the world because like she was just so sacred to me, you know. And I couldn't really relate to the girls in my school, so having Toya was like my way of being able to express myself. And obviously I grew up huge fan of Martin. I would watch him as Shanae, Old Otis, Jerome, Roman. Oh no, not well, obviously. Well, all of them. Right. You know, I would just watch him go in and out of character, and I'd be like, dang, I thought he was so funny. And I never thought I was funny until people were like, no, you're funny. Because I've always just had a personality. Like my family is very goofy. Like my dad is goofy. My brother is goofy. Like we all have a sense of humor. And I don't know, like even when I played with my Barbie dolls, like everybody had a different voice. Everybody had a different personality. And it's always been like that. Like I would put on talent shows for my family during the holidays where like I would dress up, even when I got allowance every week for cleaning up and stuff. And I would buy wigs. I would buy wigs and color contacts, and I would dress up, and I would have like my brother or whoever had a disposable camera. I would buy it with my money and have them take pictures of me in character. Because like it wasn't like I couldn't afford a video camera, but I've always been doing it. I just didn't know that it was really a thing. It was just like I enjoyed doing that, and that's how I expressed myself, was through character. Okay. So that's how young Jasmin started. And Toya, one day, a big YouTuber at the time approached me because I had put out a video on YouTube a long time ago with Toya, but she didn't have a name. And I was just on the phone arguing with my baby daddy, going off. And he was like, yo, I love that character. I want to put her in a short film. I was like, what? Really? How did you even find me?
Wow.
And I did that, and she blew up.
Wow.
She blew up.
Wow.
And then from then on, it's just been a machine.
She, clearly, right? So in school,
Mhm.
you went to a private school. Were you in any athletics or participated in cheerleading or anything like that?
Yeah, I was cheerleading. Yeah, cheerleading, and then I grew up in church, so I'm in the praise and worship band, and I'm doing like all the church plays and stuff.
Right.
So I've always been doing some type of theatric.
Okay.
Right, but then like as far as like physical activity, I cheered competitively, and I also cheered from high school.
So from high school, did you go to college?
No, I actually went to a broadcasting school.
Broadcasting school.
I know, and I wish I had the college experience because I know I probably would have been a little bit more wild. The stories would be a little different if I had went to HBC or something. But no, I went to a broadcasting school because I thought I was going to do radio.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to do radio. And they're just like, you need to be in front of the camera. Okay. I was like, what? It's just, I don't know, even till this day when people say certain things to me, it just catches me by surprise. And Bree says it all the time. Like, she'll be like, oh my gosh, people love you. They think you're so this. And I'll be like, really? And she's like, why you be acting like, and I've always been like that, where it just comes to a surprise. Like, even tonight, I'm like, wow, this many people came out. Or, they were sending me like the ticket count. I'm like, really? These many people are coming? Like, it's just still like kind of wild to me. And it's like, you guys want to talk to me? You guys want to see me? Like, it's still wild. And and I hope that I never lose that, and I don't think I will, because I think that like I've had a lot of amazing things really happen in my life where I'm still excited about everything. And I think that my gratitude is the way my gratitude is because I'm always so excited. I don't care what it is. Like, I celebrate, and Brianna and we celebrate everything.
Really?
We celebrate everything, like any small win, accomplishment, whatever it is, we just give it life and we celebrate it. And I think that that's why, things come to me the way that they do. Some call it favored or whatever, but the way my gratitude is set up, I'm always just excited. I'm always just in that space of gratitude and excitement. So I'm just still really excited to be where I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't take any of it for granted. I don't look at anybody like they owe me nothing. Like, I'm still just very much still a student, a servant, and I'm just happy to still be working in this business because it's a dope industry to be in if you can keep your sanity.
Right. So, what led you to comedy? I mean, what was the direction went to comedy?
Even though people thought I was funny, I never thought I would do comedy. Not in 100 years. You ask me like, hey, Jazz, would you do comedy? I'm like, no. Because my personality was my personality. I didn't think I was any different from anyone else. I didn't think that, like, I could do voices and impersonations, and I thought everybody could. And then they'd be like, oh, that's so funny, do that thing. And I'm like, you can't do that. Like, I didn't think that, like, I was any different from anyone. I never thought I was any different. And people were like, no, Jazz, like, that's funny. Or like, that's really cool, that thing that you do. I'm like, what? Like, you can't? Like, I'm tripping, And I remember, matter of fact, I had the pleasure of him featuring this show tonight, comedian Angus Black. He saw something in Toya and was like, he reached out and was like, I'm doing a comedy show. Like, he put all the girls together. It was like Just Hilarious, myself, and a couple other people. And he was like, I want to get Toya on the show. And I was like, no way. I don't do stand-up. I'm an actress. No. And he's just like, I'm telling you, it'll be this, it'll be big. I was like, no, I'm an actress. And he's like, well, what if you just host? Technically, you're still acting. You're in character. And I was like, okay, I'll just host, but I don't want to, like, me trying to put a set together. I was like, I'm not doing that. And then I went there and I hosted, and Just Hilarious. I love her to death. I tell the story all the time. She was late. And I ended up having to do like 25 minutes over my time.
Oh, wow.
And I blacked out up there.
Really?
I blacked out. And then afterwards, everyone was like, that was so great. And I was like, I don't know what happened.
Wow.
Like, literally, they had to show me video footage. And I was like, what? I said that? I was doing that? Like, what? Like, I did not remember anything. Like, the energy in that space was so electrifying that I blacked out.
Wow.
And then, like, I had to do it again the next night because we were there for a weekend, and she was late again, and I blacked out again. And then after that, they were like, "Yo, Jazz, like you're on fire." I was like, "Yo, this is crazy. Like it was crazy. It was nothing I've ever experienced in my life. That feeling of like being on stage, and I've done like theater, you know, Chitlin Circuit, church plays, and just like things like that. But in front of like on a stage where I had to tell stories and be funny or whatever, like it was just the wildest experience.
Wow.
Ever.
So you did that show as Toya?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
where did he see that character? Did he see it on the
online?
Okay.
Yeah, he saw the character online and was like, "Yo, like you would kill it." And I'm like, "No way." And then after I was doing Toya for a long time, people started requesting me as myself. And I'm like, "Why?" I'm like, "No, like you got to give the people what they want." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh." So then I built up the courage to, because for me, I'm like, I can be in character. That's my thing. But if I gotta go do it, I'm like, that was out of my element. I'm like, if you want to give me a script, you want me to act, you want me to do that, like that's my element. But you want me to go on stage and talk shit? That's out of my element.
Really?
So, but people were asking, they were like, "We love Toya, but we want to see Jazzy." I'm like, no. And finally, I just said yes, and I did it. And I still don't get the same feeling that I do as Toya. Okay. But gotta give the people what they want.
Gotta give them what they want.
You know?
So you were acting first.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was taking acting classes. I hadn't landed anything big, but I was like, in my mind, I was a serious actor. Like that's what I wanted to do. Like Viola Davis. I didn't want people to get caught up in the funny stuff and then not want to have me do anything else. And then that's exactly what happened. Like people were like, I would only get books for comedic things. And I'm just like, no, I'm a serious actor. You know, till this day, the roles that I get are always comedic. But I guess that, you know, they're like, but Jazz, you got to understand, like it's rare for you to look like how you do and be funny. So like we want to see that. We want to highlight that.
Gotcha. So the first time on stage as a comedian was the show at Angus.
Virginia Beach.
Wow. That's a way to start. What a way to start, right?
I know.
So then you took it to, after that show, is that where you said you blacked out twice, 2 nights in a row? So after that, is that where you felt like, okay, this is my path?
Man, I was just like, just the response I was getting. I was like, wow, I might be on to something. Okay. You know, and then like they started to book me based from that show, like in other cities. And these cities would show up and show out, like, and it got to the point where like, I was like, I don't want to say jealous of Toya, but I was like, dang, like Toya was getting all the shine. Like, you know, Professor Clump and Buddy Love. Right. I was like, oh my gosh, like Toya was getting all the shine. And I remember like Toya's following was bigger than mine. Like Toya's following was going through the roof and it got bigger than mine. Like she surpassed my personal page. And I was like, nah, I have to take a break because I didn't want to be that person that was in the shadows of my character. Because I see people who have characters and nobody cares about them as a person. They just want to see the character. I never wanted to be like that. So I always try to keep a balance where people love me as my regular self and they also love me as Toya. Because I don't want to be in Toya's shadows.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's deep.
I know, they're like, you're a psychopath.
So now, Toya has, like you've gone from the comedy stage to now you're doing the original Dream, right?
Yeah,
now you're acting.
Right.
So what was that like, that transition? Because I'm assuming you were hired based on the comedic character.
Yeah. So people, it's good to know that you can do it. So people, they see you have a comedic background, that's great. They see you can improv, that just adds to your resume, you know? And people can see the stuff that you've done and be like, okay, she can do that because she's done this, you know? And obviously like them seeing Toya, them seeing like how I am on social media, it was like, oh yeah, she's somebody that can transform. So it was easier to get the roles. I don't want to say easy because I still had to audition and still had to be what they were looking for. Right. But they already had like reference of like all like the catalog of work I've already done. You know, like I said to somebody, I'm like, you know, I can't wait to start producing and directing. And they're like, you already do that. Right. Like with your own stuff, like you're producing your own stuff, you're directing your own stuff, like you're coming up with all your own material, like you're already writing, producing, and directing. Like it's just on a different scale. Like you're already doing it. And I never looked at it like that. But once people see, and I think the people that know talent, they know. You know what I mean? Like Tyler Perry really took a chance on me. Like he was like the first one. I think a lot of people, there was a lot of people like big names who were like, oh Jazz, you're so dope, you're so this. but they didn't want to be the first one.
Gotcha.
They wanted to wait until somebody else did and then be like, oh yeah, I always believed in her and I'll put her in this movie next. But Tyler Perry was like, nah, like I need to snatch this girl up before it's a wrap.
Yeah.
So just, and then he was at the show tonight, which I had no idea he was going to show up. People were losing their minds. And
Absolutely.
They were like, yo, you brought Tyler Perry out. I was like,
Absolutely.
I didn't know I brought him out because I didn't know he was coming.
That's why I didn't know.
Yeah, so insane.
That's cool.
Insane.
That's really cool though. Yeah, Tyler Perry was here at Uptown Comedy Corner to check out Jasmin Toya Turnup.
Yes.
That's too cool.
Yeah.
So you've been doing comedy for how many years now?
I mean, I think consecutively when I was really hot, it was like a good 3 years. And then I took a break because I told myself I want to focus on film and television. And I did. And I think I took about a year, probably 2 years to do that. So I think man, it's been 5 years now?
Wow.
Not off and on.
I mean, put that in perspective though. You've accomplished a lot in a very short period of time.
Thank you. It doesn't feel like that though.
Yeah.
No.
So you mentioned earlier your social media.
Mm-hmm.
Where did the besties come from?
Honestly, my manager at the time was like, you need something to call them. He's like, you got to call them something. And everyone always says they're the best friend in your head. What about Hey Besties? And I was like, oh shit. And so I just started doing all my videos as Hey Besties and going from there.
Yeah.
And then it just stuck. Now it's that's what I call them, the besties,
Yeah. Because you came in, like you said, 5 years now. So you really came in through that social media wave. Do you feel, or have you felt any indifference from other comedians who didn't come through that wave?
Oh yeah, I mean, of course, you have people who kind of give you strife because you didn't have to go to amateur night and do all those things. But I mean, I still had to build my own audience.
Right.
So even though I didn't have to go to an amateur night or do Showtime at the Apollo, I still had to do my own Apollo for my own fans and get people to follow me and support me and run with me. I still had to convince people from different walks of life and different parts of the world to why they should follow my page and why they should support me. So I had to do it a different way. Mm-hmm. So, it's always interesting because it's just because I didn't have to do it that way doesn't mean that I didn't earn my stripes. And then even still, I've been on the road with Dion Cole, Bruce, Donnell Rawlings. I've been in the same rooms as the greats, and where they were and I'd be the only girl on the lineup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm up there holding my own and I'm getting their fans too.
How about
so
that?
they're leaving. So I'm doing their show and then now I'm leaving out with Dion Cole's fans, Flex Washington's fans, Bruce's fans, and they all, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And they're all supporting me and rocking with me as the only chick. And then a lot of people started to do it after me. I don't want to say after me, but once that door opened, I think Just Hilarious was the one who really kind of opened it for the social media girls. And then everybody started to it was we just started okay, this person did it first. Now I can go in behind her and do all the things. So, I mean, you're going to get strife, especially because people, they look at me and they think oh, she's not about to be funny, or, oh, pick one. You want to model, you want to do this, or which one you want to do. But I've never been I'm not the person that you can put in a box ever. I'm not even boxable. You can't fit me in there because I do so many different things. Right. So it's I try not to even I'm honestly in my own lane and I just mind my own business. I don't even know what the hell be going on with people because I don't be in nobody's business. I really just mind my business, do what I got to do, and try to be as present as possible as I can in my life. Gotcha.
So from a female standpoint, do you see the difficulties from the female comedian perspective?
Yeah, because this industry is very male dominated, and I don't think the women support each other enough to be we're here. I think the women hate on each other a lot, and I don't like that. I hate that because I'm such a girl's girl, but a lot of the women are already looking at you oh, she's like this or she's like that, or I get all the time oh, girl, I thought you was like this until I met you, and I'm well, why? Why did you think that? Right. You didn't even give me a chance. That's why my circle is small. My circle is tight. I don't have any new friends. The friends that I've had for a while. I don't do that catty stuff, and I just keep it to myself. I'm cool. I'm nice. I'm cordial, but I don't get into other people's insecurities.
So you are on one of the best shows on TV right now, and then the spinoff.
Oh
right?
yeah,
and you're
Sisters
working
and
on
my
your own
Yep.
project.
Mhm.
I mean, how does that make you feel?
Honestly, it's just insane. It's insane. I don't even know how I feel, honestly. Like there's days where it just hits me and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like this project is about to be so huge. And then there's days where it just feels like I'm not doing nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, but you got all this stuff in the can that's about to come out this year. And I'm just like, yeah, but you know, like it's just it never feels like enough. Not that I'm not grateful for it, but it's just like to me, it's like you do the work and then the work is done and it's like it feels like you're never gonna see it. But it's just it's in the work still. But you know, working on Sisters and Fatima honestly was like and such an amazing experience. Tyler Perry Studios is like the freaking Rolls Royce of production.
Right.
That just from like the way you're greeted, the way just the food, just everything, the establishment, the set, like the dressing room, everything is top tier. It's like, and you know, they don't want you to record or nothing, but like you be like, yo, this is Black excellence for real. Yeah. Like he came at y'all next. It's like freaking you go in there, it's like a freaking amusement park. You're like, this no, it's crazy. And this is like it just makes me feel so proud that the person who took a chance on me is Black.
How about that?
And doing it at a high level.
High level.
And is a billionaire.
Yeah. True story.
You know what I'm saying? There's some people in here who've been doing this for a long time who did not hit that B status.
True story.
And this man is a billionaire and as humble as he is. So it's like it's cool that like people are like, oh, you don't want to get stuck doing that Tyler Perry stuff. I'm like, listen, I do not mind because I love it over here.
Yeah. That's what everybody was talking about tonight. They're like, man, there's an actual billionaire in the building.
Man, like, can you guys even understand
what that means?
We breathe in the same air, and that man he's amazing.
Really so how amazing. Was the first time you met him?
Oh my gosh. Obviously, it was during COVID, like, you know, being on set, everybody has masks, this, da, da, da. So he had his mask on, and he was just incognito. I didn't even know who he was there. All I heard was, hello, Jasmine. And I was just like, oh, shit. I'm like, what's up? You know what I mean? And I was like, what? Oh, damn, how you doing? They scared the shit out of me. You know what I mean? And he was like, I'm really happy you're here. And then it was like, you know, he directed Fatima season 1. Season 2, it was like between him and another director. His name is Armani. And just being directed by him was like really cool because people would tell me, they're like, oh, Tyler Perry, he doesn't direct people. You got to go in there. You got to know your stuff. Don't expect this. Don't expect him to acknowledge. Don't expect he's busy, da da da. But like my experience with him was like completely different. He was actually directing me. Okay, yeah, now do this because I gave him something to work with. He's like, oh, I like that. Now say this, and it's like, oh, well, how about that? You know, it was just I was like, we were going back and forth, and people were like, yo, on my first day on set, they were like, he does not do that.
Really?
He does not do that with everybody.
Wow.
And I was like, really? Like, I don't know. This is my first experience. But I'm thinking like, I'm just trying to follow suit. They're like, don't expect this. And I'm like, don't look him in the eye. Don't, you know what I mean? And he ended up just being like this amazing person. And we got to really have fun. And then like, you know, at the end of season 1, he was like, I would love to have you back for season 2. And I was like, dang. And they were like, yo, you officially got invited back by Mr. Perry. And I was like, I guess so. And I was like telling my mom, I'm like, oh my gosh, I got invited back for season 2. And I didn't even know there was going to be a season 2. So now in this season, like I'm in way more episodes than I was in the first one.
Right.
So it's just, man, God is amazing. And, you know, I'll never forget. Somebody told me, he was like the editor of like, you remember Black Men magazine?
Yeah.
Yes. What was his name? Marcus Blasingame, I think. Marcus, yeah. I'll never ever forget. He told me one time, we were going to this event, and he said, Jazz, you're going to go far. And I was like, why? And he was like, because people like you. And he was like, when people like you, you just go far.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Like, but he was like, people just like you. Like, I don't know. Like, they just do. You know what I mean? It's not like anything that I do that's special or different, but, you know, and I think that I was one of those things with Mr. Perry was like, he just liked me. Like, he just took a liking to me. And I think it's because he can kind of relate to me because I am a character actor. And I am somebody that can switch it up, do different things and do this and that. And I think that and I'm not speaking for him, but I think that he saw something in me that reminded him of himself in his earlier years of like trying to figure out this industry. Yeah. Like he knows exactly what to do with me. Gotcha. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like look what he's done.
Yeah.
You know?
No doubt. So you've accomplished a lot, like I said, in a short period of time. But when Jazz sits there by herself, what is it you're thinking about? Like, I've done this, I've done that. What's on?
I
What's
don't even
next?
think like that.
Really?
No, I'm just like, I want to do more of it. You know, it's not like I check a list like, oh, did this, did that. It's like, no, I want to continue to do this. But I mean, I think when it's all said and done, I would love to just be behind the scenes.
Okay.
Write, direct, produce.
Okay.
You know, like when I'm young and cute and can do all the cute girl stuff, I would want to do that. But when I'm older, like I want to transition.
Okay.
And on my project that I'm working on, like I got to executive produce, which was like a different feeling and a different hat. It was like, oh, I can't go back to just being talent. I have to be on the other end.
Gotcha.
Like that is who I am. I have to. So I mean, like I would love to direct, produce, and write. I'm also a writer. That's where I want my legacy to be.
So this project you're doing, you're, like you said, you're a bigger part of it, right? So you're writing. You write on that project as well?
I wrote it.
You wrote it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Even better, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when is that set to come out?
You know what? I got in trouble for talking about it
No,
prematurely.
say no more.
So I honestly don't even know.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I'm hearing different things, but it's coming.
Okay. Good stuff.
Thank you.
So, Jazz, we always like to wrap up with a top 5.
Okay.
All right. So you are from Florida.
Yeah.
All right. So tell me your top 5 artists out of Florida.
Like rappers?
Rappers, art, singing, whatever. Just top
Florida.
5
Oh,
artists.
you know what? First of all, I gotta show love to my girl Trina.
Okay.
Trina raised me.
Okay.
Whatever that sounds like to you, it is what it is. Trina for sure. T-Pain, I had some of the best experiences of my life just listening to T-Pain's music. Rick Ross, love Rick Ross. I feel like when he came out, when he was from Miami, he really shook things up. Plies came in and just shook Florida up and was just so unapologetically Florida. It felt so amazing. And Kaya. Kaya was like, man, like the women who came out of Florida and that were rapping were like that girl. So Kaya, T-Pain, Plies, Rick Ross, and Trina.
Okay. Not bad at all.
Yeah.
I got one other question. I almost forgot. I got to ask this as well. Like I said, it's your 3rd time here at Uptown. Tell me about your Uptown experience.
Oh my gosh, my Uptown experience has been amazing. Honestly, when the opportunity came again, she's like, my agent's like, oh, you know they love you over there. I'm like,
Yes,
yeah, they're
do.
great. You guys have always been extremely nice to me, extremely accommodating, and just extremely thoughtful. The energy has always been amazing, and it's always just felt like a second home. Always. Like each time, it was never like, you go to some clubs and it's just like, they just treat you like you're in and out. But here it's like, you can kick back, you can eat food, you can, you know, hang out, you can smoke a cigar or whatever. Like I don't feel rushed.
Okay.
I don't feel rushed in here. It's like, it's a good environment and a good group.
Good deal.
Oh, yeah.
Good deal. And how you like the new club?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's nice.
Very good.
Better area.
Yeah, true story. True story. Well, listen, Ms. Jasmin Brown, I appreciate you taking the time. You rocked out 2 amazing shows.
Thank you.
You know, you brought I'm sorry, I forgot her name, but one that plays the team.
Crystal Hayes.
Crystal,
Yes.
Crystal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they love her.
Yeah, they do. And she had a great personality as well. I got to talk with her.
She's amazing.
Yeah, that was awesome. Jasmin, we just want to thank you for taking time out for the sit down at Uptown.
Yeah.
We want to thank you for coming out to Uptown, you know, and this is anytime you're ready to come back, we want you back.
I know it.
All
I
right,
know it.
without a doubt. But we're so proud of you.
Thank you.
We're so excited to see the growth from the first time to now. I mean, it's been phenomenal. Not just on the stage, just to watch your career. You know what I mean? I love just sitting back and watching those things and just seeing how your career is growing.
Thank you so much.
It's phenomenal. I wish you nothing but the best.
I received that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Sit down at Uptown with the beautiful and talented and hilarious Jasmin Brown. Thank you.